ibadah, a person has belief and during his worship, and most of all, if he has belief in his dua, then the more his iman, his faith will strengthen and get stronger. Yes? So if you want to assess somebody's iman, or you want to assess your own iman, that on which level or strength is my iman, my faith, then you should see that how much yaqeen do I have in asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how much belief do I have. The more frequently, the more strongly you have yaqeen and belief and faith and certainty that whatever I ask from Allah, He listens and He gives. And He gives. Then the more a person's iman, based on that thinking, it gets strong. So in other words, ibadah, worship, in reality it shows, it demonstrates the iman of a person. Whoever's iman is strong and it gets taqwa and strengthens his iman, then he doesn't turn to anyone else apart from Allah. Because those people know that Allah has said Himself, Allah says that Ad'uni istajib lakum, I listen to you. Allah says, why don't you ask from me? Allah says that, alongside that, Allah has also given a warning that if you do not ask me, that demonstrates your takabbur, your pride, your haughtiness. You don't have belief in me. You don't have certainty in me. You don't accept me as your God. So Allah says, I am telling you clearly, ask me and I will give to you. So why don't you ask from me? And when you ask me, then why don't you have belief that I will give to you? Allah says, Subhanallah. So we can now assess our iman, our faith, our belief. That if we had this yaqeen in Allah, according to this verse, then tell me, would anyone remain anxious or nervous? Or would there be a difficulty in our life? Or would there be any distress? No, because we know that Allah gives. We know that Allah gives. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. That when dua, when you do supplication, is the sign of servanthood, then servanthood, abdiyat, what is that? It is the pleasure of Allah. It leads to the pleasure of Allah. Because abdiyat, servanthood, shows that Allah is happy with His servant. That's servanthood. Yeah? Abdiyat, it proves that Allah says, I am happy with my servant. So the more a person delves into abdiyat, servanthood, the more Allah becomes happy with that person. The more. And what does it mean that Allah is pleased? That Allah's qurb, connection, is strengthened. The servant draws nearer to Allah. Nearer. Abdiyat draws the believer closer to Allah. Closer to Allah. As his abdiyat gets stronger, then understand his qurb is getting stronger. So if dua is ibadah, worship, then the pious predecessors have stated that if dua is ibadah, then after every dua your servanthood increases, gets stronger, and your qurb, nearness to Allah, gets stronger. Your relationship with Allah gets stronger. Very straightforward, I'm telling you this. So what a great action is dua. Look, I'm sat here. If I start doing dua now, what will I get? First of all, point one, I will get stacks and stacks of reward. Just for doing dua. Just like after any other ibadah worship action, you get reward. Yes, so that's point number one. And point number two is that you get the qurb, the nearness to Allah when you do dua. Nearness to Allah. It's a wasila. Dua is a wasila. It's a resource, a means to draw and get close to Allah. So when Allah says, seek the means, the resources to get close to me, so dua is the greatest wasila to take you close to Allah. The greatest wasila. So this is wasila. We're sat here, we're doing dhikr of Allah, we want to get close to Allah. It's wasila. Quran recitation is wasila to get close to Allah. But dua, which is the foundation of our deen, how close will dua take us to Allah? You cannot imagine. One is salah, takes you close to Allah. But the foundation of salah is dua. So how close will that take you to salah? So point number one, for doing dua, you get thawab, reward, ongoing thawab. Number two, you get qurb ilahi, you get nearness to Allah by doing dua. So how can a person say, oh, it's a waste of time doing dua? We don't need to do dua. Then shaitan comes again. Look, I'm telling you simple things, answers. Shaitan's attack and whispers are so wretched and cursed in my life. Because alhamdulillah, I'm following this subject path in my life. Many people I've seen deviated. Oh, my dua's not accepted. They cry. They complain. And then this waswas of shaitan increases so much. He goes so far from Allah, the believer. Yaar, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't ask Allah anymore. Then those words start coming from that person's mouth that finish his iman. He loses his iman. He doesn't even realize he's lost his iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about Allah, to speak negative, you have to be extremely cautious. Don't imagine even speaking negative against Allah. Negative. Yes, you should not even imagine, even think. A person, oh Allah, I do dua, Allah doesn't listen to me, what's the point anymore? Allah hasn't accepted my du'as, I'm tired. This is such a person, if he says this, oh I'm tired of doing dua, he does not have iman anymore. He doesn't remain a believer. Oh I'm tired of doing dua, oh Allah doesn't listen to me. People say these words, na'uzubillah. Why? Because he becomes so distressed and sorrowful, that person, he has pity on himself. He's praying salah, he's doing ibadah, making dua. But what does he think? Because shaitan injects this waswasa that Allah is not accepting your duas. If he did them, why would you be in these negative circumstances? So then he goes so much off track, the individual, so much off track, that he starts to wipe his hands of iman, that person. So there's an answer for that person. That the best action that Allah Ta'ala likes is what? That my servant is asking me, Allah says. My servant is begging to me. Oh, but you haven't physically got it. Yes, I have physically got it, but this is Allah's hikmah. This is Allah's wisdom, subhanallah. Allah says, you definitely get it because this is Allah's hikmah, Allah's wisdom. This point. And how is this Allah's hikmah? Shaitan asks, and you reply that Allah, I've attained it. Because Allah Ta'ala has given it to me, but Allah's hikmah, wisdom is such that He's given to me what He prefers and what He likes. Yes, because I am His servant. I am the creation, I am the abd, and He's the khaliq, He's the creator, He is the owner, He is the malik. I as the servant, I ask according to my understanding, and Allah gives according to His excellence and His level. Yes, so do we do dua with wasila? So here I'll share with you a story that how can you take a wali Allah as the wasila, as the intermediary? So if you have dua and you add wasila to your dua as well, then 100% you'll be successful. And you recite these kalimat and you have the company of a wali Allah sheikh, and for the sake of his wasila, say, raise your hand and say, Allah, for the sake of the piety of this great wali of yours, Allah, please accept my duas. Allah accepts your dua. Subhanallah, Allah has given us a door. Allah has given us a means to strengthen the dua. So a question comes in now. Yeah, there's a question that a wali Allah, a pious person, and a wali Allah, a pious person, they're such friends of Allah who are such that Allah has freed them from Jahannam. So Allah says, definitely during the day I hear their dua, their supplication. So how do we find these people though? How do we know that they're pious, that they will do dua for us and Allah will accept the dua? Say subhanallah. So look for that wasila, a pious person. There's a simple way. Allah says that I know and I follow, I go with you the way that you are thinking. Allah says that wherever you're thinking, it sticks there that this is a wali Allah, then ask through his wasila for him to do dua for you. Allah says, I'll accept that dua. Say subhanallah. So whoever you have love for, that this is a wali Allah, a friend of Allah, Allah, this is your friend. Then whoever you consider your friend, then according to your need and your thoughts and positive thoughts, Allah says, I'll accept the dua of that person, the pious person.